Hi, good day, Sir Jovic. I am Jamaica Villavelis from BSHM-2A, and for today's video, I'm going to discuss the summary of the modules, which is Module 1, 2, and 3. Historical origins of strategy and strategic management. Before we proceed any further, it is essential to define the strategic management. It helps organizations to prioritize what is important for them and provides a holistic view of an organization. Historic origins of strategic management have been linked to the military. The word strategy comes from the Greek strategos, which means general. Military strategy deals with planning and execution in a war setting, while taking into consideration the strategy and tactics required to implement the plan. Outmaneuvering the enemy in a chess-like situation requires a well-thought-out plan with emphasis on the plan's execution. Schools of thought and strategic management. From a historical perspective, many schools of thought have in the strategic management domain. As Minberg and his colleagues explained, the first three schools are more prescriptive, with an emphasis on strategy formulation that developed from the 1960s to the 1980s. The 10th school conceptually combines and captures the other 9 schools into an integrative whole. Each school is described briefly in this section. The design school purports a fit between an organization's internal capabilities and external opportunities. The second school, planning, which developed in the 1970s, conceptualized strategy to include a structured, step-by-step approach. An environment assessment includes forecast and scenario analysis. This school emerged from the work of Porter 1980 with an emphasis on strategy typologies. The cognitive school in the fifth school, and it emphasized strategy formation from the perspective that the decision makers with cognition and mind drive strategy making. While describing the learning school, Minberg and his colleagues state that strategy appears first as patterns out of the past, only later perhaps as plans for the future, and ultimately as perspective to guide overall behavior. The decision makers' role in one of a boundary spanner in being able to scan the environment, while identifying the macro and micro levels forces that impact the firm's position within a given business domain. Overall aims of strategic management: creating a competitive advantage. A firm is in business to create value for its stakeholders. Since value is created, firms have a competitive edge over their market rivals. It is imperative that a definitive and formalized approach that falls within the realm of strategic management is at the core of the process. Since factors in the firm's external and internal environments are constantly changing, the complexity, variability associated with creating and sustaining competitive advantage are high. At the business level, firms need to ask themselves the following question: how can we create competitive advantage in our product market domains? In each strategic business unit, it also engages in constant innovation to ensure new product service develop roll out while ensuring that their service and product qualities as well as the customer satisfaction related to them are at the highest level. Defining key terms. The strategic management framework captures the process sequentially and definitively. An internal and external environment analysis is part of the assessment before strategy is formulated at the corporate, business, and functional levels. The mission statement includes a clear purpose and states why the organization is existing. For example, the following is the corporate mission statement. For Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts, Four Seasons is dedicated to perfecting the travel experience through continual innovation and the highest standards of hospitality. This tactics is innovation may be part of the strategy to gain an advantage, which ultimately would lead to winning the game. Not a tactical decisions which can be immediate or very short terms in terms of scope, impact, the implementation process at the functional operational levels. This chapter provides conceptualization of external environment and describes its characteristics, dimensions, and types. Understanding the external environment is essential so firms managers can formulate a strategy from human resources and ecological viewpoints are important to consider from local and global perspectives. They must be considered in order to track changes in the environment. Example, for instance, from ecological perspective, it is considered acceptable in the US context may not be acceptable in a German or Canadian context. Given the political, legal, and social norms in these geographic domains, the economic environment, the term economic environment refers to all the external economic factors that influence buying habits of consumers and businesses and therefore affect the performance of a company. In some countries, productive and each population dominate and provided opportunities for economic growth and demand for goods and services. Different social cultural factors also influence business practices, policies, and activities. Therefore, culture and also influence the technological environment changes are very fast climate change. Drought and food scarcity could lead to social unrest and international conflicts. Ecosystem used in while taking into consideration the various forces that emanate from its categories. The general and task environments impact the firms in it, and comprehending the origin of these forces is the general environment, and corresponding impacts on the task environment is essential. Porter's 5 forces models provide a clear understanding of the business environment and its immediate impact on the firm. Likewise, understanding the industry structures, strategic groups, and market segment in the industry is essential to being able to comprehend the strategy, provision, and implementation process. That will be all. Thank you and God bless.